am Dr. Kanika, Assistant Professor in SYT Department, IMS Noida. Today, we will discuss about the multi-threading concept in Java. So, what is multi-threading? What is threads? What is the life cycle of thread? How to implement in thread? So, we are going all to cover all these topics in this video. So, let's start our class. So this is the topic includes in my video. There is basically 3 topics where you learn everything about the threads. Okay, first is introduction, second creation, third is life cycle of thread. First, to start before the thread, first I want to discuss what is thread, right? So a thread is a lightweight sub-process, the smallest unit of processing, right? Multiprocessing and multi-threading both are used to achieve multitasking. Okay, so a thread process and threads are two basic units of Java program executions. A process is a self-contained execution environment, and it can be seen as a program or application. Means a process, a program which is in execution. It is called process, and thread. It can be called lightweight process because a process, it is the part. A thread is, it is the part of that process. Okay, so there is a lots of difference between the thread and the process. A process means a program which is in execution, and a thread means it is a part of that process. So thread requires less resources to create and exist in the process. Next is, what is multi-threading? You can take so many ideas about its word. Multi-threading here means there are multiple threads. So in Java, it is a process of executing multiple threads simultaneously, where we can execute multiple threads concurrently. A program which is divided into 2 or more subprograms which can be implemented at the same time in parallel, because in Java there is a same memory area where every thread is sharing the same. So there is in Java no other memory area will be allocated to the threads. Multiprocessing and multi-threading both are used to achieve multitasking, because if anyone is doing a multiple things, right? If you are a student, if so you are performing a multiple task, so you are multitasking. You are a multitask performer. So likewise, if any prefix word multiprocessing and multi-threading means we are we are using for this to achieve multitask. Okay, so Java multi-threading is mostly used in games, animations. So multiple threads is basically to execute multiple threads concurrently. So we use multi-threading, then multi-processing, because threads use a shared memory area. They don't allocate separate memory area, so saves memory. And context switching between the threads take less time than process. You already read about the context switching in operating system, where how processes does the context switching in scheduling algorithms, right? So threads take less time. Threads takes less context switching time between the threads in comparison to the process. So what is the advantages of multi-threading? Why we are using it? So the first most important advantages, benefits of multi-threading is resource sharing. All the threads of a process share its resources such as memory. Like I already told that in threads they share this common area. So as such as memory, data files, a single application can have different threads within the same address space using resource sharing. So what we are doing with the help of threads, we are saving data space, right? Second is utilization of multiprocessor architecture. It means in a multiprocessor architecture, each thread can run on a different processor in parallel using multithreading. This increases concurrency of the system. This is in indirect contrast to a single process system where only one processor thread can run on a processor at a time. Okay. Third point is responsiveness. Program responsiveness allows a program to run even if part or it is blocked using multi-threading. This can also be done if the process is performing a lengthy operation. If I'm quoted an example here, if a web browser with multi-threading can use one thread for user contact and another for image loading at the same time. So it means it is very responsive. Next is economy with the, if we see about the monetary terms, so it is very cheap. It is more economical to use thread as they share the process resources. Comparatively, it is more expensive and time consuming to create processes as they require more memory and resources, because process doesn't share the common memory area. They have their separate memory area. They have their, every process have their same, uh, every process have their own address space. So processes are expensive and threads are cheap in comparison to the processes. So it's all about the advantages. Now we are going to forward our next topic, what is creating thread. Suppose how we create a thread. So there are the basically two methods. First is by extending thread class, means by using the inheritance concept, and second is by implementing runnable interface. So we will discuss first to understand how to create a thread. So threads are implemented in the form of object. Run and start are two basically inbuilt methods to helps to thread implementation. To helps to thread implementation. So run method is what? Run method is the heart and soul of any threads. If we are using that run method, that means we are uh, executing the code. So now, first of all, I will show the I will show a small program about using the extend, means using the inheritance concept, that how to implement a thread with the help of inheritance. So here it is a class multi extend threads, means thread is a super class and multi is its child class. There is a method which is run, and what in this method is doing, it is printing a thread is running with the current thread dot current thread. What it will give, it will give the current thread who is running currently. Next is, it is our main method, and multi t1 and t2, these are the objects of multi-class. Now you will see if what happen if I will use a start method, or what happen if I will use run method. So here I will show you about to use the start method. So this is the CMD, okay, and the class name is multi, okay, multi.java. So our program has been compiled. Now run this program. So you can see here With the help of this start method, thread is running means T1. What it is, main current thread is running here, which is thread 0, and T2 is executing the thread T1. Okay, both are the different threads. Here, with the help of this run method, when object T1 dot start call, it will goes to the run method and it will print the current executing thread. Now, if the compiler go to t2.start, then it will also call the run method and the system out.println statement will execute and the current thread will be print. So here in t1.start thread 0 is printing and t2.start thread 1 is printing. Suppose if I will change it t1 dot run, what will happen? So you can see with your eyes that I'm compile it. It has been compiled. Now I'm executing the run command. Now you can easily see that thread is running means main. There is no thread 0, there is no thread 1. So with the, if we are using run command, that means our main thread is executing. What main, which main thread is executing? There is run command is just specify the main thread. There is no thread 1, there is no thread. It simply give you the main thread is executing, right? So you can simply show the difference between the run and the show command. Now let's go back to our PPT. So you already have seen, you have already seen the implementation by thread class implementation. Now to see the use of by implementing runnable interface. So define a class that implements runnable interface. So you already have seen the extend keyword. What is the use of extend keyword to implement a thread? And now the second method to implement a thread with the help of runnable interface. So how it will implement, we will see with the help of an example. So go back to our program. It is our um, next program. There is a public class thread demo and a main method. See what it is happening here, that multi-thread M1 is the object of that multi-thread, means this is the class where we are implement and runnable interface. What will happen in this class, that a public void run, and with what it is executing, it is executing the same printing statement command. So this M1 is the object of this multi-thread, and the thread, it is a class where T1 it's an object. If we are implementing a thread with the runnable interface, so it means we have to pass that M1 object of the another class and start that command T1 dot start. So we will execute this program. So let's see what will happen. Java C, and the name is thread demo dot java. So has been compiled. Now to execute, to run this command, we have to write Java thread demo. Right? So it will simply give you the thread is running. There is no, because we are using the start command. So you will see now what is the difference between these two, means by the extending the extended keyword and to by the use of the inheritance, or what is the use of this interface. So it is a lightweight process. There is no many heavy methods, but if we are using interface, so that means there are there can be more classes. So if there are n number of classes, then we have to extend n number of classes. So it is the heavy class, and interface is simply a lightweight thing, where if there are interface, then we don't need to we don't need to use every interface. We can simply execute n number of interface. So both are the two methods where we can creating a thread with the help of these two methods. Now the next is our topic is life cycle of a thread. So it is very important topic in regarding of a thread, because during the lifetime of a thread, there are many states it can enter. There are basically 5 states. So a thread in Java at any point of time exists in any one of the following states. A thread lies in between these states. So first is newborn state, second is runnable state, third is running state, fourth is block state, and the five is dead state. So this is the diagram about the states, where how a thread creates, it will go to new. So if there is a start method, so it will go to the runnable state, otherwise it will go to the dead state. After the runnable state, it will simply go at the running statement where it is executing, and after executing it will go to two statements, dead or waiting state. So they are basically a complete life cycle, where you can easily understand the concept of a life cycle of threads. So what is the first state is newborn state. So a newborn state is what, when a new thread is created, it is in the new state. So the thread has not yet started to run, where thread is in this state. When a thread lies in the new state, its code is yet to be run. Means code has yet to be start and hasn't started to execute. So the newborn state, whenever a new thread will be whenever a new thread will be created, it simply goes in this newborn state. Second is runnable state, means a thread that is ready to run, means that is ready to execute. A thread that is ready to run is moved to runnable state. In this state, a thread might actually be running, or it might be ready run at any state of time, if it is the responsibility of the thread scheduler to give the thread time to run. Next is running state, means thread is executing. A, a application is executing, so the processor has given its time to the thread for its execution. Means the time is completely depend upon the thread, how much time will be taken by a thread. So the thread runs until it gives up control on its own or taken over by the other threads. Means if our thread is running, is executing in this stage, so it will finish when it gives the control on its own, or otherwise a thread is forceful, the other threads will take control forcefully. So it's all about the running state. Fourth is waiting state, or it is also known as blocked state, when a thread is temporarily inactive. Then it is one of the following states: block or waiting. So, for example, when a thread is waiting for input output to complete, it lies in the blocked state. It is the responsibility of the thread scheduler to reactivate and schedule a block waiting thread. Means if some thread is waiting for input output, right? So it will lie in this blocked state. When a thread scheduler uh, arrange its arrange its execution process again, then a blocked state goes to the waiting state. So a thread in this state cannot continue its execution any further until it is moved to a runnable state. Any thread in this state doesn't consume any CPU cycle. So it is also considered as not runnable state because thread is dead and the thread is not active. So this there are two methods. There are three methods: suspend, sleep, or wait to block a state. Last is your dead state. A dead state is what we can say a terminated state. So a thread terminates because of either of the following reasons. Means because it exists normally, this happens when the code of thread is entirely executed by the program. And second is because there occurred some unusual erroneous event like segmentation fault or unhandled exception. So we can achieve this method, or we can forcefully to stop a thread with the help of stop method, or to the thread completes its execution. So it has also the two name, dead state or the terminated state. So it's all about the multi-threading concept. Hope so you all are understand about what is multi-threading the Java. Thank you all.